Hey, bricks and mortar retailers. As a store owner, one of the major things, the major pet peeves that we have is the fact that our employees turn over quite regularly, and it becomes a real challenge to retain employees, and especially the good ones. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. My name's Alvin. I am a bricks and mortar retail business coach. I help store owners just like you grow their business and help you scale your business so that you can create more time and freedom to do the things that you love. So I am going to go through a little bit of a blurb today about retail employee engagement. I will just bring up the worksheet here. So, oh, by the way, if you want a copy of this, just put the word copy down the bottom, and I'll make sure that we get it out to you. So one of the major things that happen, and these stats are from the US, is that we have the retail industry has a turnover rate of about 60%, and that's really, really high. And I get it. Like, many of us are hiring juniors, underqualified people, or people that are using retail as a stepping stone, university students, etc., to another career. And that's probably one of the reasons why that we are getting the high turnover, but it doesn't need to be that high, right? It's actually a real detriment to your business. If you have your team members turning over that regularly, you're basically it's a sign that you've got unhappy employees. Your customer satisfaction, I bet, is going to be down, and definitely your profitability is going to be down because you're spending all this money trying to retrain people. So what I want to talk to you about today is how we can go about making sure that we have a real high performing team and an engaged team. So I just briefly spoke about that. 60% of people that work in retail turnover. There's a very, very high replacement cost, and the productivity loss is super, super annoying as well, super high. So, but why does it matter, right? I think the main thing from a store owner perspective is the financial impact of the turnover, as you can see from these slides. And you're constantly having to retrain people, investing money in retraining. But I should probably stop there a second, because I know there are plenty of retailers that I work with, plenty of store owners that don't even have a training program, that just kind of plonk people into their role without providing any sort of support. So, but what I'm reaching out to here is those people. And also, if you've already got some sort of system in place, you will realize that the amount of money that you spend retraining someone and keeping them engaged. And we all know that, and you walk into any retail store, and you've seen this yourself as a store owner, when the employees are engaged, when the team is on fire, so to speak, and they're super happy to be there, you have a much better customer service experience, right? Happy retail assistants, happy employees lead to happy customers, because they're being served correctly, they're being served in the right way, and your team members can really start to execute all the training that you have provided for them, hopefully, on how to grow your store, right? Not only that, especially in this high street environment of online retail, your store has the ability to stand out from the marketplace, which is super, super critical, of course. So there's a couple of tips that I think it all starts from the beginning. Actually, I don't think I know it starts from the beginning. And it's super important that we get these things right. So yeah, I'm going to talk to you a little bit later on about how you can fix these things, but really getting this done from the beginning will ensure that you have the right team members in place, and that your engagement is high, your retention is high, and your turnover of staff is minimal. So you're not constantly, running around chasing your tail. So we need to screen for a cultural fit. So, when I work with my clients, we sometimes do personality questionnaires, disc profiles, etc. But I think one of the first things to do is to make sure that the person that you're hiring fits in with your mission and vision of what you're trying to achieve with your store. Now, there again, hopefully you've done a mission vision. If you haven't, make sure you look at the other videos or get in touch and we can show you how to do that. But you just need to make sure that the right cultural fit for what you're trying to create, right? Some people, some employees don't like the idea of mission or vision. They think it's a little bit too woo-woo. But you need to make sure that you've got buy-in from somebody that's going to come along for the journey that you're creating within your store, and that they are right fit. It's common sense, right? Another thing to do later on down the track you might consider is ensuring that your team are part of the interview process. Certainly if you have managers on your team, but later on down the track, if you've got a large team, including some of your other retail store members, is a really, really good idea. Onboarding is so important. It still bedazzles me how many retailers don't have an onboarding process, and it doesn't need to be super fancy. It's basically just a structured approach. Like, otherwise, what happens is you actually cause your new team member to become overwhelmed, because you or your retail manager or whoever's doing the onboarding are kind of jumping all over the place, right? When you have a clear and structured plan, it makes it so much easier for you, the retail store owner, or your retail manager to execute. And also you've got a structured approach on how you're onboarding your team member, your new team member. And secondly, it also makes it a lot easier for your employee or / team member, because they know exactly that when you've organized it in a way where there's no overwhelm, which is it can be super overwhelming, right? They're in our little retail stores. There's so much to do, and it can become very, very overwhelming. So making sure that you have a onboarding process is so important. The next thing is making sure that you've got some sort of feedback mechanism. Again, it surprises me that how many of us don't do this, but whether it's making sure that you check in with your new team member weekly, or for the first month, every couple of weeks or so, something like that, just to make sure that they're settling in correctly. And this is a great way to pick up any sort of cobwebs, any sort of bad hire mistakes that you might have as well. After that is, once we continue to build this company culture, when we're starting to have a more engaged team that does not turn over as quickly, that is there basically to grow your business, which is what we're talking about. I've got a training on how to create a rock star team. Have a look at that video as well. But this is sort of all leading up to how we might create that rock star team. Yeah. So when you develop your team, and I'm not going to go through this in any detail, this is something that we do with our clients. If you want some help with this stuff, just send me a message, or just put a comment in the comment section below. Just write develop, and we can show you how we can help you grow your team and develop your team. But essentially, you want to have a program in place where you've got skills training. So that involves, the basic customer service training, product knowledge training, how to merchandise your store, how to serve customers, all those kind of things. The next thing, which is often overlooked, is the career pathways. We think that our retail employees, because they might only be with us for a little while, there's no sort of pathway for them. But you really actually need to create a pathway. I bet you, if you took the time to sit down and go through everything in your store, there are certain things that you as a store owner or your management team can sort of outsource or delegate to other team members, right? And sure, once they start in the business, they might be doing the basic things, maybe checkout, merchandising, and then as they, show interest, and if you can show them the progression, you can get them to start to do the ordering, whatever it is that's unique for your store, that they can start to build up. So you want to make sure that there's a pathway for them. Feedback, my God, how many of us do not do this? Such a simple thing. We all love feedback. Even we, the store owners, love feedback. And in fact, we need feedback. So we need to make sure that we have these regular conversations. And the trick here is that they need to be coaching conversations, not you did this bad, but in a coaching type of environment where you're actually getting your employee to think and ask questions. And we've got so many templates on this that we have with our clients. So you need to make sure that you do this feedback regularly. And of course, you need to recognize, just the simple McDonald's Employee of the Month type thing. You can do that. We often recommend for our clients that you set a 90-day plan. Within that 90-day plan, there are 3 specific goals that you want to achieve, and you want to make sure that it's gamified, right? So that once the team achieves those goals, they get recognized for it, and then individual people within there whatever it is that you decide it to be also get recognized as well. So you need to make sure that's part of the process. The other thing, like everything in life, communication is so important. So you want to, your team members want to work in a place where they're being heard and where the communication is really a breeze, right? So team meetings, hopefully you have them in place. If not, hopefully you're doing them regularly, at least monthly, I think is super important. Like I mentioned, the check-ins. Now this can be, we recommend for our clients, if you've got a large team with a retail manager, you do daily huddles, and they're quick 5-minute check-ins you do at the beginning of the shift or at the beginning of the morning or whatever, however your store operates. It's a good way to check in, debrief information, and so on and so forth. But if you're not doing that, regular check-ins are so important. And of course, having that feedback is a really good idea. That feedback box, which is anonymous, you could do that as well, which I think is a really, really good idea. And one of the biggest gripes I hear from employees, right, and this is when I was working in a retail store, is the fact that you called last minute, rostered on. So unless you're a known casual where this might happen, I think it's really important to give your team members certainty in when they're going to be working. And that means doing your rostering and scheduling a couple of weeks in advance and making sure that your rostering software alerts your team members well in advance, right? 2 weeks, I think, is the minimum. And yes, things can change, but you want to give your team members certainty of what's happening in the future. Obviously, if they're regular hours, then that's okay. But the casuals and the part-timers, if you're changing their hours, you want to make sure you give them enough notice. You want to try and be flexible where you can. Don't let them run over you, but there's a certain amount of flexibility that needs to be there. My battery's going to die. Isn't that interesting? Give me a second. Yeah, there we go, back. Yeah, and you want to make sure that your, if you've got people working on the weekends, you want to make sure that you've taken in the requests for your individual team members when you hired them, and also you want to rotate it fairly as well. So I think a lot of part-timers and a lot of retail team members understand that they may need to work on the weekends, but having some sort of fair distribution is so important. So the key to keeping people within your store is trying to understand where they are, right, within the scheme of your store, and trying to understand their motivations, whether they're looking for career advancement or growth, or some people just want to work in a place that feels nice. Some people want work-life balance, and you want to make sure that you understand the different team members' priorities and having regular conversations with these people. And you notice this is just all the basics, right? All you're doing is just talking and communicating. And funnily enough, when you communicate regularly, you can start to understand what their frustrations are. They can understand what you want as a store owner, and it's about sorting it out very, very easily. And the last thing is you want to make sure, especially in this day and age, that you're using technology as your ally, especially with the younger generation. So making sure, and this is a really big part of employee engagement, I think, is making sure that you've got some sort of digital rostering systems. You've perhaps got online training platforms, and you're using some sort of communication app like Slack or whatever, WhatsApp, whatever is going to be working for your store. So it's a way of leveraging technology that can help you improve employee engagement. So there you go. That's my short little thing about employee engagement and building a really good company culture. If you get all of these things right, basically you get the benefits of a highly engaged team and a retained workforce for your store, right? Ultimately, this leads to reduced costs, improved customer experience, improved profitability, and improved cash flow. And who doesn't want those things? Because then once you got that, you're starting to create a rock star team, and then you as the store owner can start to work on the business. And then once you start working on the business, so you're on your way to creating more time and freedom for yourself, which is hopefully why you are watching this video in the first place. So there you go. It's all done. So if you wanted a copy of that worksheet, just put the word worksheet down below, or PDF, whatever. and we'll make sure that we get it out for you, and you can have a copy of that. And remember to like, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you need some help with growing your retail store, make sure you reach out to me. Just put growth in the comment section below. Till next time, catch you later.